Hey guys, welcome. I'm Rachel Castile, and this is Typology Corner. And today I just want to talk a little bit more about me and why I'm starting Typology Corner, and just to share more of my journey with type and what's led me here. I've been interested in typology since coming out of high school. Through a series of events, I went to these trainings where this business coach talked about like personality types, and from then on, like, it was super intriguing. She talked about like four different categories of people, and then from there I encountered MBTI, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, on YouTube, and that's where I learned about the 16 personality types. Looking at introversion, extroversion, sensing, intuition, feeling and thinking, judging and perceiving, just seeing the variety of people in that way. And so that was something super intriguing to me when I was about like 18 and 19 years old. And from there, I basically couldn't shake the knowledge of like seeing the value of personality, understanding, and like just seeing how different we all are. That's always just like stuck out to me. And from there, so a little bit about discovering my type journey. One thing like I've heard recently, as I discovered objective personality, that they talk about like that it's very common for people to type themselves upside down, like that they don't see themselves correctly, that they almost see themselves as the opposite of what they really are. And like that's something that was very true for me. So in Myers-Briggs, the type that I am, and I've been typed officially by Dave and Shan, which are the founders of Objective Personality. I spoke with Dave on the phone for about an hour, and just through talking, it became very clear what my type was. But anyways, I saw myself when I first tested, taking just online test. I tested as an ISFJ. And from there, I tested as like a INFJ. And then I went on to test as like nearly everything at some point. As you answer questions on a test, you're answering it from the perspective of how you see yourself. It's not really objective. It's not so much, it's whatever part of yourself you're processing, whatever aspect of yourself that you feel like you relate to in that moment, that you identify with, you know. Well, I went on to thinking I was like a INTP, ENTP, ISTP, briefly thought ENFJ, and then eventually, so also before that it was like ESFP for a bit, and but in the end, after getting officially typed and going into it, I kind of was already on the journey to seeing that to be true, is that I'm an ESTP. And so funny thing is, starting out, I was testing as ISFJ, INFJ was like the primary like start, journeying all the way over to ESTP. I mentioned that just because seeing ourselves isn't something that is a default, really. What we're experiencing about ourselves is like the part about ourselves that we're like proud that we're doing in some way, and not being actually conscious of what is like automatic, you know. So in a way, being aware of what's more conscious, because it's not the automatic programming in a sense. So but yeah, so that's been my journey with that. So I'm an ESTP, and it's very clear to me now, like, that I'm constantly, I'll get into the functions and stuff, but the big breakdown of personality where it really makes sense is like the cognitive functions, more so than just a personality description of like, hey, these people are like this, you know, just like a written up description of all the types, like the 16 types. But when you get into the cognitive functions, it's the processes that are being prioritized. whether that function is oriented toward the outside world first, or if your first function is inward. That's what determines introversion and extroversion, not behavior. Not, oh, I'm really social or I'm not very social, therefore I'm introvert. It's not necessarily correlated, really. It's like what comes first. What is your primary focus, you know? Yeah, so that being said, the functions of my type is extroverted sensing first, which is being very attuned to the sensory data, the sensory environment around me, the five senses, you know. And then second function is TI, introverted thinking, which is like what it's my personal reasons, my personal, like what works for me. I very much am like an independent thinker in that sense of kind of building my own systems and ways of doing things and my own beliefs and stuff like that. So TI being my second function. Then third function is extroverted feeling, which is being attuned to the tribe values, like what do other people value, and like honoring that, somewhat making decisions on that. So yeah, it's like that balance of the tribe values and my own thinking and my own ways of doing things. So, but yeah, as you look at the functions, like a life lived out is living these functions out, you know. Also, last function of my type is introverted intuition, which is, how would I describe that? It's an organizing function. So it's organizing patterns that could be realized as a result of all my gathering of sensory data. It's like me organizing it. My lowest function is the organizing of all my experiences to some degree. So it winds up being this like pattern recognition within the things that was gathered, that's now being organized, and kind of extracting the patterns from it in a way. So yeah, that's my function stack. So essentially, I would say the biggest thing about type is coming to a point where you're honest with yourself, of being willing to be seen for what you're actually doing, and not trying to show up in the world as what you want to be in the world, but as what you are, you know? So that's one of the biggest things, biggest like emphasis about this channel and what I want to talk about and what I want to do with this is to explore what we actually are, not how we want to show up in the world, not how we want to be seen, but to really see ourselves and see, it's like coming to that real place, you know, and from there you can grow, you know, but you can't grow if you think you're something other than what you are, or you're trying to be something that you're not. It's almost like being on the wrong path, almost like becoming really good at something you're not isn't progress. So yeah, so there's that. It's taken a long time to be like honest, to live honestly, to live blatantly as what I am in a way. So that's one aspect. Then when you get into the Enneagram, that is like the emotional patterns. It's like trauma responses, go to defense mechanisms, to like self-protect, but to get our needs met as well. So there are lots of different ways that we do that. So the Enneagram is 9 types, primarily, and then there's really 27 subtypes. When you get into the instincts of the different types, there's 3 different instincts. There's a self-preservation instinct, there's a social instinct, and then a sexual instinct. And they call that one-to-one, like wanting that one-to-one connection in a way. So yeah, you get like, you have 9 types that then have 3 variations. And then the types are next to other types. So you can kind of have traits of the types near you as well, and then they're connected to other types. But it's a read of emotional responses, emotional patterns of things that, like, it's like coping mechanisms that we somewhat activated that worked for us as kids, and then like it's very much still somewhat running our life. And it's has the potential to really be like preventing us from living as our real self, just because of how established those strategies are for all the different ones that we've chosen, you know? So, I say that to say that the Enneagram colors on top of your personality, on top of your cognitive, like how you're wired and what you prioritize. Combining that with your Enneagram type, you get a lot of specific things to a person, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to be exploring all of this, but I guess my primary like motive or desire out of this is just to like peel back to the real and help other people be able to see themselves clearly and to be able to navigate that. And I think seeing the truth about ourselves, what we're doing, like the good, the bad, the ugly, the all of it, you know, with truth, you can move forward. You know, truth sets you free. And truth has set me free and is setting me free. Every day I get more truth and I'm able to make new decisions in light of seeing clearly now, you know? And each time I see something, I'm like, okay, I can decide, okay, I don't have to do what I normally always did. I can make a new choice. I realize that's just that programming and I don't have to follow being an Enneagram 2, which that's what I am. So, which they call the helper. It's like, so within the Enneagram, there's like a fear triad, a shame triad, and anger. So there are three types in each of those triads or areas, like heart center, gut center, head center, like being in your head, people more in tune with the heart, or just like their gut instinct groups as well. So all those things are aspects of it. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought a little bit, but essentially, yeah, as a two, two is in the shame triad. So there's a core like feeling like unlovable as what I am at my core. So the ones that are in the shame triad, they react differently with that shame. The two becomes a helper and they like somewhat over inflate themselves to be helpful to other people. And like they are identifying with how good of a friend or how well they like how good they are to other people to somewhat validate or affirm like who they are, that they have value because look, I did something for you, you know, in a sense. And then other ones in that, you know, the 2, 3, and 4 are in the shame triad. They do it in different ways. So I just to somewhat just shed light on my types and then I'll explore more, but just discovering the ESTP, the functions, and there's a lot more in objective personality to explore on that. That they go into a lot more on just like certain functions are feminine or masculine, as in like masculine ones are pushy and feminine ones are movable, more so like more receptive in a way. So these different things color the unique ESTP that I am. And yeah, there's more to explore, but essentially just to give a picture that I'm wanting to just kind of explore this. I'll start with my own journey and then start exploring other types and making videos on the different types, making videos around like how to grow and just a good base, like foundation for where I plan to go with all of this. And so, yeah, be expecting like a foundations series coming out where I just kind of slowly break some of this stuff down and kind of set a good foundation for the rest of the content that's coming. So, yeah, so thanks for watching. I'm gonna stop it for now, and yeah, I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to explore more of this, and yeah, stay tuned for more. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And yeah, welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you here. So, all right, have a blessed one.